All right, so I'm going to just start off with saying how I came across CareerFusion. One of the common questions I see on Facebook groups and Dental Town, Hygiene Town, other forums is hygienists always asking, what can I do with my hygiene experience, with my skills? Do I need an advanced degree? What can I do? I have no idea. And then I came across, I think the first time I saw CareerFusion was in a big ad in a magazine, like the full page ad, I believe it was, Shirley, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and I saw that. I thought that's a pretty interesting idea, to have something like that for to help hygienists kind of discover ways to use their hygiene skills, basically, outside the clinic. And then I heard you talk about it, Shirley, with Beth on your radio program a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
And then Lewis Myers mentioned it to me one time. So can you just kind of give us a quick summary of what it is, what CareerFusion is?
Well, it's really hard to describe, so sorry about that.
Is that right?
So I'm gonna try to kind of do it as short as possible, and that is that CareerFusion is in the opportunity business. So what we do is we bring together clinicians, and mostly it's hygienists because Beth Thompson and I are hygienists, and we bring together industry people who are looking for highly motivated hygienists, and the media. The media, mostly in dental hygiene circles, is the magazines, RDH Magazine, Modern Hygienist, and Dental Product Shopper, stuff like that. So that is what we bring together with the intention of being like a matchmaking service. So Beth has been in the industry for over 30 years on the industry side, not just as a clinician. And people were coming to her from both sides, from the industry and from the industry and from clinical dental hygienists, wondering how they can do anything else, which is what you just described. Mm-hmm. And so what she decided to do then was to create kind of like a matchmaking service, and then that's kind of evolved into CareerFusion. So CareerFusion kicks off the year in January at Daytona Beach, and we have a 4.5-day retreat. At the retreat, we do some skill building, we do some networking, we do some drinking, we do some breakfast eating. We just do a little bit of everything, and what that allows the clinicians to do is to kind of be on a 4.5-day interview. It allows the industry people to see who they may want to hire and who would be a good fit for their company in a variety of different ways. So we've had some people write articles for pay for the companies. We've had people who had opportunities to work the booth in their local neighborhood, when somebody couldn't fill a booth slot. We had, I don't know, there's just a ton of different things. We've had people that created jobs, created products. We've had people who have hired other fusionistas. We call each other fusionistas. And so it's really multifaceted. And I like to also say that the people who come to CareerFusion get into it whatever they want. So everybody leaves with an entirely different experience, and nobody can understand that. Is that fair to say, Laurie, do you think?
100%. You have to be open-minded when you come and just think about the things that you might want to do, and then it's up to you to make those connections and move forward with those.
So, Laurie, talk about your experience back the first time you went. Why did you go? How did you discover it? And what did you get out of it the first time?
Well, I was a dental hygienist for 20-plus years, and then I transitioned into the front office and practice management. I also went back to school to become a health coach, and my passion was always related to preventing disease, and that's really the thrust of dental hygiene anyway. But I wanted to go beyond the mouth. So some of the presenters at our local study club were Career Fusionistas, and that was the first time I heard about it. And I just started hearing more and more about it. One day I called Beth, and Beth said, "You need to come to Career Fusion." So I signed up. She was very convincing, and it was kind of a no-brainer. It was the only option for me as far as I could see if I wanted to stay in the dental industry, and I feel like that's really what I know best, and I understand the people and what the needs are of the patients, and so it was a really good fit for me, and I'm so glad that I did it, really. And I keep doing it, don't I?
Yeah. So you've been like 3 times, Laurie?
Yes, this was my 3rd year.
Very nice. Shirley, can you kind of talk about what are some of the typical things you guys do every day? I know you guys have like group discussions. You guys talk with corporate sponsors and things like that.
Yeah, we have a secret schedule. Nobody knows what's going to happen when we get there.
Okay.
So just generically speaking, though, we have a couple of days where we have tracks where we do a variety of different things. We have a writer's track to learn more about writing in the industry. We have a presenter's track. We have a business track and a sales track. And, you know, so we try to accommodate as many different areas of interest as possible. And one of the things that the corporate people like a lot is the focus groups that we call table talks that were invented by, we like to say they were invented by, my earphones keep falling out, Patty DeGangi. And so what that is the corporate entity, the person who's making a decision. This isn't just a local sales rep. This is a person in a vice president position or even a president or owner position. And they circle together with 8 or 9 of our members that are attending the meeting, and they talk for about 40 minutes about their product, selling their product, how to get their product into the office, what are stumbling blocks, what's wrong with the packaging, everything about those products. And then we rotate through. So all of the corporate partners have an opportunity to talk to everybody into these group settings. Not only that, we have networking breakfast where we all sit together for breakfast. The companies sit there. So any conversation that didn't happen during that focus group can happen at any other time during the meeting. So they really like that level of attention. Some standouts are Light rebranded and reconfigured their entire delivery system for their local topical anesthetic. When they came to us, they were making a big deal about it not being a shot. But when our members saw it, they're like, "Dude, this looks like a shot, right?" So they redid that tip to be a soft blue plastic tip, and it's a lot longer, it's a lot more flexible, you can maneuver it around. So they redid everything based on the recommendations from the CareerFusion members. Clear, if you know some of the Clear xylitol educators, Clear, the company, was going to hire regular street people to do that job. The job was to show dental offices where to get xylitol from and kind of bridge the gap. They had a little bridging the gap motif going on. And when they came to CareerFusion themselves, they had sent their marketing manager. When the owner came, he swapped that whole thing out. He ditched the idea completely, and he reconfigured that whole part of their business to include dental hygienists who were attending CareerFusion. Mostly because when they go to a trade show, the Chicago Midwinter, or when they go to the ADA or any name a dental trade show, hygienists come by, they say, "Oh, candy." They take a few, they listen to some little pitch, and then they disappear, and they never go that next level. So what they found at CareerFusion were hygienists who were super engaged, that wanted to do something more, that liked the idea of presenting the benefits of xylitol, in this case, into these dental offices. So they hired 6 people from CareerFusion to develop that position, and it's still in effect today, and it's, I don't know, is it 5 or 6 years later? So those are the kinds of things that happen there. Did everybody get a job? No. Do we have companies come and do interviews? No. We did that one year and it worked out really well, and then they came back the next year and it didn't really work at all. So the whole thing is really, it's got to be kind of cohesive. It's got to be all together, and that's how it works the best. And that's just the Daytona part. And then we have a year-long membership that carries out throughout the year, where we have various little activities online and at some of the major meetings.
Right, so it's just not a, was it 4.5-day thing you guys have in Florida, right?
Right.
It's not just that, it's a year-round membership.
Right. So Mark Hartley, for instance, from Penwell, will sometimes say, do you know somebody that can write an article on this topic? So I'll send it out to everybody, and they come back and say, yes, I'll do it, or no, I can't. And the corporate partners, we have I should have had a copy here, continually use their directory that we create and travel with it for the entire year. So if they have a need for something short-term, or they need to meet somebody at XYZ location, they have everything right at their fingertips. You have one? Oh, awesome. It's a bound book. We have it professionally made. It's like a novel.
I see.
Yeah, I have my Post-it notes in there.
So people use that throughout the year.
Very nice. So let's kind of talk.
I wanted to make a comment,
go ahead,
if you don't mind, about the CareerFusion experience, the actual retreat. Sometimes what happens there is just completely organic. Like Beth and Shirley will plan things, even though they don't tell us what the plan is.
Right.
But things just happen organically, and that's kind of the magic of CareerFusion. Can I give the example about the football bet this year?
Yeah, that was pretty amazing. That was pretty amazing.
So there was a football game going on while we were at CareerFusion, and although it's usually all business, for 5 minutes, 2 participants went up. One was a Dallas fan and one was a Green Bay fan, and they had this bet. One had to eat sauerkraut if their team lost, and the other one had to eat something else. So the girl who had to eat the sauerkraut lost. Her team lost. So the next day they went up, and she just was not going to be able to make this bet happen. She was not going to be able to eat the sauerkraut. So the other person stood up there, and I know this sounds really weird, and she said, if I can get somebody to donate $100 towards a CareerFusion scholarship for next year, Chris won't have to eat the sauerkraut. In less than 10 minutes, they raised over $1,000. People were just dipping into their pocket, taking $5, $10, $20 out. It just was an outpouring of love and positive energy that you couldn't plan that. And I mean, it was just a beautiful moment. And there are just certain things like that that happen that you can't really explain unless you're there. And I was so glad I wasn't out of the room for that 10 minutes. Yeah. That was, I will never forget that. That was so cool.
That's cool. So yeah, so to me, as an outsider that hasn't been, it just seems like a really positive networking opportunity. That to be around other hygienists and other people, dentists too, and other people that really want to take things to the next level. You know, it's not easy to find. So many hygienists just want to go to work and go home, and that's all they want to do. The point that you bring up about a positive energy, let's just stick with that for a second, because I haven't ever been to a conference where people will come up to you and say, how is it that I can help you? Or let me know if there's something I can do for you during the year. Please don't hesitate to reach out and call me. And I've done that. And people have met me for lunch, taken my phone call, returned my email. I mean, you have a network in these books of people that can help you do just about anything that you want to do. It's really up to you to ask. But to have that positive energy in a room like that for 4.5 days, it's
it's something very unique.
Mm-hmm. Well,
And,
let's get into. I have a list of things that people do outside clinic. I just want to name a couple that I have down: writing, speaking, consulting, sales rep, research, teaching, those kind of things. Can you guys just talk about some of the things that hygienists are doing outside clinic?
Hygienists in general or CareerFusion members?
Oh, both. Yeah. Just in
yeah,
general.
they're all doing all of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
and more.
And more.
And
So,
more, yeah.
Laurie is doing, I don't even know what you want to call it, Laurie, because it's really a different kind of a model that's erupting in the industry right now, where they're hiring specialists to do small meetings. So you're doing that for Invisalign, right?
Well, I technically work for Contemporary Product Solutions. They were hired by Invisalign to do their trainings, which previous to 2014, those trainings were done by Invisalign reps. And they decided to go out to hire trainers for that. So Shirley recommended me for that, and I did that all of last year. I'm not 100% sure if I'm doing it this year or not, but it was an amazing experience.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of our members were hired to do that training. Hygienists who are teaching, that needs a higher level of education. You can't do that with an associate's degree. Mm-hmm. You can't do some of these other things with an associate's degree. Even just selling toothbrushes. To work at a toothbrush company, most companies want you to have a baccalaureate degree. They want you to have an undergraduate degree. Mm-hmm. They know, back in their little secret parts of their brain, that almost no hygienist has a baccalaureate degree, and they also know that they have enough credits to complete that degree. Mm-hmm. But in order to, they have to have some kind of a cutoff. When you already know the people who are going to be doing the hiring, it's an entirely different avenue into those jobs. Mm-hmm. So that's another really decent feature that we offer. These people get to meet up with these companies who are looking to hire people, even for territory type jobs, and they know them then, and they know what they're capable of and what they're not capable of. It's surprising to me how hygienists who've been practicing for 30 years have developed some kind of a weird attitude that they deserve a job to do this or that because they've been sitting chairside for so long. But they don't even know how to use their computer for anything but email. Right. And they resent the fact that they have to learn. And I'm like, really? Mm-hmm. The whole industry, the whole United States revolves around using a computer and the software and the internet and all this stuff. And so we have a pretty robust entry system into CareerFusion that forces these people into using their computers. And the resistance is very high from some, very high.
That's surprising, actually.
Yeah, it is surprising. And they just don't understand. They don't want to understand. And I've been getting along fine this long without it and blah, blah, blah. But you need to know how to use your computer. You need to know how to write an email that doesn't have 1,000 mistakes in it or any of that stuff. So when you're, with respect to education and with respect to getting jobs, we offer at least that training, or at least we let people know what they need to know in order to get a job without going formally to college. So let's see, research. We offer from CareerFusion a couple of research opportunities from the chair. Mm-hmm. We've had a couple of things with Clear using xylitol to show the results of xylitol in a patient group. That study went for 3 months, and I think we had 12 or 13 hygienists participating in that. That was a lot of fun, and we got some really good results doing that. We also did that with Remin Pro from Voco, who is another one of our partners, who wanted to show the white spot reversal using Remin Pro, and that was pretty neat. They were able to use that at their national sales meeting, and show the rest of the sales rep what kind of results they could expect by recommending the use of ReminPro. Writing is a little bit tricky because people think that they should be paid to write, and most of the dental hygiene magazines don't pay.
Right.
So you have to look at it as an advertisement.
Mm-hmm.
So if you think of our full-page ad in RDH magazine, for instance, costs us a lot of money.
Yes.
And all of the other ads cost a lot of money, right? So if you write an article, you are presenting yourself as an expert in that field, and you have an opportunity then to toot your own horn, to have an ad that doesn't look like an ad, and that's how you have to look at that. So those are the kinds of things that we train with respect to that and to speaking. You know,
that's a good point, though, Shirley, because I always tell hygienists that I talk to, most of these things, like being a hygienist, you go to hygiene school, it's a pretty straightforward, clear path. You get hired, for the most part, you get hired by a dentist to work and do clinical.
Right.
Same as being a dentist. It's a pretty clear path. Being a plumber or whatever, it's a clear path. But a lot of these jobs, like consulting, speaking, or whatever, that might or might not pay, they're not. There's no straightforward path. There's no Craigslist ad saying, I need a hygienist that's willing to learn how to be a consultant. Like, you're not going to find that. So you have to kind of create that on your own, right, Shirley?
Through networking.
Yes, that's true.
Through networking. Yep, you have to be able to talk to people and talk to the right people. Talking to the sales reps, nothing. Nothing happens because they look at you potentially as stealing their job. So they're not going to help you. And that's why we're so adamant when we're talking to the companies to make sure that there's a decision maker there at the meeting.
Yeah, I always say people should be willing to work for free, like you said, Shirley, about writing for free.
Yep.
I mean, if you're not willing to work for free, I mean, good luck, you know?
Yeah.
That's what I say. Good luck getting opportunities with people, you know, because I have a blog. I've been out there for a while, and people see my name, and I get a lot of emails and things come my way. It's because I'm out there, you know?
Right.
So the people that are just, all they know is clinical hygiene, and they say, okay, I want to go get a bachelor's degree in something, and they just sit back thinking they're going to just wait for the jobs to come in, right? It's not going to happen. So.
You're exactly right. It's not going to happen. And that was a really painful, eye-opening experience for me personally when I got my baccalaureate degree. You know, I already had a pile of credits, but whatever school you go to, they want you to at least have 30 credits to say that you're a graduate of that school. So I got my 30 credits in record time and had a little graduation party, and nothing happened. Nothing happened.
Yeah.
I went to work the next day. I didn't get more money. I didn't get more responsibility. I didn't get to do anything more or anything less. I still had to do the same thing as the girl who barely made it through hygiene school or couldn't pass the boards 3 times or something like that. You know, it's a weird system that we've got now. So the networking really, really is the answer. And not everybody's good at networking. I'm not very good at it. But being together and getting, having 3 days of warm-up, if that's what you need, in 3 days together is pretty amazing.
Yeah. That's a good point, too, Shirley, because, like, you go to a course or something, if it's one day and you barely get to know people around you, right? And then you go home.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yeah, we force people to sit in new spots every day.
Yeah.
We break people up. I saw a couple of people sitting next to each other 2 days in a row, and I was like, you got to move.
Yeah.
It breaks up the clicks. It breaks up your concentration. It breaks up your groove when you're not sitting with the people you already know or the person you met yesterday who you got along well with. There may be somebody 3 seats down that you're going to get along with even better, but you'll never know because you're tied up with this person. So we really kind of force the issue there.
Mm-hmm. Can you guys talk a little bit about the speaking? I know, Laurie, you're a speaker too, right? Or you do some speaking?
Yes.
Yeah. Can you just talk about how that typically works and how you get connected and that kind of thing?
Well, for me, it only worked because I went to CareerFusion and they taught me about how to do it, because I wanted to do it and didn't really know how. In the dental industry, it's a little bit different, I think, than other industries, where if you're speaking for a dental hygiene association, they have X amount of dollars and that's it, because that's all they have in the pot. So if you want to be paid more than that, you have to look for sponsors, and you have to know how to approach them and bill them, and you have to figure out how much you want to make, and then how many sponsors do you need to make that.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of worked out for me a little bit, and I enjoy doing that.
So would you say speaking is more of a part-time thing, or can it be a full-time thing, you think, for anybody, or is that asking too much? Yeah.
There are a few people that do it full-time, but you really have, Shirley, wouldn't you say that you have to work a long time to get that to be your full-time thing?
Yeah.
I mean, you need to be writing, and usually if you speak and that's your livelihood, it's because you speak and you have a product to sell also, like a book or a program or something else. So, you know, it really depends what your focus is.
I see.
Yeah, the speaking doesn't happen unless you're writing, because people don't know who you are.
Right.
And the bigger your footprint, the more likely you are to speak. And then we have this huge problem now that has developed, and you know, CareerFusion is an answer to that a little bit, is independent speakers have to have a competition now. Firstly, they had a competition with Free CE Online, and now we also have competition with companies who hire a load of speakers for product educators, they call them. So Invisalign, for instance, now has a group of trainers that do all of that speaking for them. The Clear Xylitol educators do a lot of speaking, and I see them also, congratulations, in these larger venues, which is something that used to be reserved for independent speakers like me. Yeah. So that's a little bit of a problem. Sometimes people look at Beth and I and go and say, you know, you're training your replacement, you're training your competition, but we don't look at it that way at all. Yeah. We look at it as watching people succeed and get, you know, we have a total abundance kind of a mentality for that.
Is there any...
Well, plus everybody has a different message too.
Yeah.
You know, there's more than one topic to speak about.
Yeah. Do you guys find hygiene schools open to having speakers come in, maybe? Is that something that happens? No, not really. Yeah.
No, they have corporate speakers come in.
Yeah.
I just was speaking down in Albany, Georgia, for Colteen. So I had the whole day, and the majority of what I talk about, it was a very difficult program. The majority of things that I talk about are pretty far off the straight and narrow. I bring things in from different industries and different disciplines, and I kind of push them together. And dental hygiene students can't hear that stuff because then everything is in question, everything they're learning. So a lot of the day I was like, okay, you students, disregard this part, you know. So,
yeah, I found that because, you know, I have the product that I developed, and I went back to my hygiene school to just basically give them the product for free and just kind of do a demo.
Yeah.
And it was kind of, even my own hygiene school, it was a little tough to get into. Yeah. You know, trying to squeeze me in into, like, you know, because it's pretty packed, you know, curriculum.
Packed program, no kidding.
So I had about 15 minutes, you know, just during clinic, and but yeah, it just seems like they're very regimented. It's very set. It's very tough. Like they don't want you to come in there and say something different, you know, right?
Exactly.
That's for sure. But.
So you know, that's a really good example. You used my book as part of. What, did you buy it on your own, the Purple Guide, or was it?
No, somebody had it in my class. I looked at it. Yeah.
Yeah, on their own. And so I can't get my book into any of the schools in Wisconsin, but there are a lot of programs in the United States that are using the Purple Guide as part of their curriculum or suggesting strongly that students purchase it on their own. So you have to be 50 miles from home to be an expert. That's
Exactly.
one answer there.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you guys recommend then definitely getting a bachelor's degree? I'm sure this, like you were saying, some things they just use that as a cutoff, like, hey, you don't have a bachelor's degree, you don't qualify. So what do you guys think? You think you should definitely get it or no?
What do you think,
I don't
Laurie?
know.
I'm on the fence about it.
Yeah.
I'm really on the fence about it. I wanted to get it for a long time, but I didn't have the opportunity to take that time to do it. Now that I have the time to do it, I'm wondering, do I really need it at this point? So it doesn't seem to be stopping me from doing the things that I want to do. So
Yeah.
I honestly think that if I was coming out of hygiene school and I had the opportunity to do it, I would say that it was a good idea if you can do it. But is it 100% necessary? Not really.
Yeah, to me it seems like it's
What do you
just.
think, Shirley?
Yeah, to me it's just more like I don't know, credibility maybe in some people's eyes. I don't see it as, Go ahead, Shirley. What do you think?
Yeah.
I'm with you, Mark. I felt better having it done. I graduated with my RDH degree in '86 and then my bachelor's degree in '99. And so I was happy I did it. I was disappointed with the results from it.
Right.
But really, truthfully, I don't think any hygienist should have only an associate's degree from the get-go. I think we should have a bachelor's degree as an entry level. We have, did you talk to Trish O'Hare?
Yeah, I interviewed her for my blog.
Yeah, and so did I recently, and she again pointed out that we have 120 credits pretty much when we graduate with this 2-year waiting period that they say that we have to do the prereqs. No school has 2 years of prereqs and then gives you an associate's degree at the end. It's a political thing, and it's a money thing, and it's crooked. And so I strongly suggest anybody looking into dental hygiene to get a bachelor's degree right at the beginning. Put your money in up front. Find a way to do it more cheaply. I described it pretty extensively in a YouTube video on my own channel there at, I think it's Shirley channel or something like that. But I really want everybody to have a bachelor's degree. But if you're out 30 years or 25 years and you still are working on your, working with your associate's degree, I don't know about going back.
Yeah, me personally, I was in the Air Force for 10 years. I took a lot of courses, college courses throughout those years at all different schools, university level, community college level. And for me, I have a 2-year degree in hygiene. And for me, like the courses in hygiene, they demanded way more than any science course I took at a university. Like they call it 2 credits, but it's like 6 credits. That's what it feels like, right? Yeah, so it's ridiculous, but
it's not straight.
I mean, me personally, I'm probably going to eventually go to O'Hare University to knock out my bachelor's degree because it's a 6-month program. The way it sounds is you basically do your own research and you do a project and you can learn something from it and get your bachelor's degree. So that's my plan eventually. But, let's see. Can we just talk about the price, Shirley, of CareerFusion? For some reason in my head I thought it was like $4,000, but it's not. It's much cheaper than that. But
it is much cheaper than that. It's $2,150 for a new attendee, and it hasn't been less. It hasn't been more than that. We haven't changed the price since 2008. And Beth and I keep having this conversation that we need to increase the fee, and she keeps like, So right now it's still $2,150 for a new attendee. And what that does is it sets a bar. The corporate partners are happy with that amount of buy-in. Those people will do what they say they're going to do. It's a barrier to entry, I guess. For the really highly motivated. We used to have scholarships where the companies would put together a couple extra dollars and offer some scholarships. But what we found is those people that came on scholarships with very few
I
exceptions.
can't really hear.
The people who came on scholarships, with very few exception, were not as engaged, and they just didn't fall in very easily. So that's why we're keeping the price at least as high as what we're at right now.
I think it makes sense though, Shirley, because people are gonna see it. I mean, if you were charging $300, people would see it as, oh, it's not really that great of a program if it's $300, you know? Yeah.
Right, and then, yep, and we expect people to fly somewhere, and we really take that kind of stuff seriously, because most hygienists don't fly to a CE ever, and most hygienists don't leave home overnight even for a CE. So we're not, you know, people think I'm a bully or whatever, but we really take that very seriously, that these people are way out of their comfort zone, a lot of them. Is that pretty fair, Laurie? You were working the welcome table this year.
I can't hear. I'm having trouble hearing, so
She's having
maybe
trouble hearing.
Is it breaking up? Or,
yeah, it's all over the place. Like, I'll get a couple words and then nothing. I heard welcome table this year. That was all I heard.
Well,
go ahead.
Do I want to repeat it? What we were talking about the kind of people that come, at least for their first year, they're really out of their comfort zone. And what was your experience with the new people at the welcome table? Because you saw them first. Did you hear that?
No, not at all.
Sorry. Do you want me to try to link in again?
Yeah, try that, I guess. That might work. All right.
Okay, that's better. Shirley, I'm so sorry. You want to ask me a question again? Something about the welcome room?
Well, we were talking about how a lot of our first-year members are really overwhelmed, and that a lot of them have never even been on a plane. Certainly, they don't stay overnight at a continuing education course, and they don't know what to expect because it's so intense and vague at the same time. So is that kind of what you found with the first-year people?
Well, it's also different in that you go to a study club or something and you go for the day and then you go home. This is more like you said, a job interview for a couple of days, and you really have the feeling that you need to be on, and you should be on, and you should be paying attention to who you're meeting. So I had the opportunity to meet everybody as they were coming in, and you know, they kind of looked dazed and confused, but after a day, I would say, where some of us who have been there for a while would just take some of them under our wing, everybody melded into the group really, really quickly, and that was so amazing to see. And I think they really appreciated it. And this year I think you made a special effort to say try to mentor somebody, which I think we were doing anyway, or was being done anyway, but this year it was a little bit more official. And I think we formed some really great relationships with the new people coming in. I know I did. I met a few new people that I'm going to be staying in touch with. And the other beauty about it is they're from all over the country. So if you're traveling and working, you know, there's almost somebody in every state that's been at CareerFusion. That I've even met people at the airport. Like, I'll post something on Facebook. I'm at, you know, St. Louis or wherever on a layover, and somebody will come running to my gate before I get on the plane. So anyway, I got sidetracked. But yeah, we take the new people in under our wing and make them feel welcome, and they just become part of the community very quickly.
Laurie, can you talk about, since you've been there 3 times, you know, like how it's different the second and third time? Like what do you get out of it coming back to it again? What do you say?
That's a really interesting question. You know, the first time, it's like a first date with somebody that you're falling in love with. You know, it's like really special. And I know that sounds like a funny analogy, but I was on a bus last year with I don't know if I should mention anybody's name, but he represented a company, and we were on the bus together from Daytona Airport, and I said, I am so envious of you new people, because it's just so special the first time. So the first time is, again, it's something different, but when you come back and then you have an idea of what's going on, it just increases your feeling about things and your passion and your drive and your focus. So you have a better sense of what to expect and maybe how to talk to people and which things you want to concentrate on. Now, this was my third year. The second year for me wasn't my best year just because personally I wasn't in the greatest place, but it was just a timing of the event. It had nothing to do with anybody but myself. And this year when I went to one of the same tracks that I went to last year, and I got something completely different out of it. I mean, I heard the same things last year, but they didn't resonate with me like they did this year. So sometimes you just have to be in the right frame of mind to take something in and to get something out of it.
Yeah.
So every year you get something new.
I would say, if anything, it's Florida in January, so.
And there's nothing wrong with Florida in January.
Yeah, for all those people in the cold places like myself. But.
One of the things I want to bring up is that in your second and third year, the membership tuition goes down a little bit, because we really do put our people to work at the meeting. In order to even present at our meeting, we expect that our presenters have been through the meeting at least 2 years. And then they can start offering courses to teach on their own. Because it is so different, we've had a couple of dental speakers and it was horrible. So we don't let anybody speak at our meetings that hasn't gone through, because it's so different. It's not just a information vomiting session. There's a lot that goes along with it. So Laurie now is on the backside doing some of our online monthly meetings, Toastmasters, I think. We have another long-term member who's doing an online book club, and so we have that every month. We talk about a business book. We have something called CareerFusion every month, which is we just have a speaker in to just talk about a topic that's of interest. For instance, mind mapping, portfolio building. I don't even know what all else we had last year. Sales, yeah.
Speaking etiquette, how to make a change in your life.
So yeah,
I think you cover everything.
We have a little bit of everything on our online meetings. So we offer even some of our long-term members to not host the meeting, but to be the presenter at the meeting and offer their expertise. So we give people opportunities to practice their expertise in a bunch of different ways.
Yeah, very nice.
Also, Shirley mentioned the table talks before, where we sit down with the companies. If you've been to CareerFusion a few times, you can be a table talk moderator. So you're kind of the liaison between the group members and the company. And that gives you really personal time with these companies. So that's another thing that can help you. And it might not be something instant. You might not walk away with a job. I don't want people to think that they're going to leave CareerFusion with a job.
Right.
But you're going to leave CareerFusion with connections that you can then go back to and tap into. And it might just be advice, or it might be, hey, you know, your product would be great. Could you sponsor me for this presentation?
Yeah.
So, or write an article. I mean, I wrote an article for RDH. I spoke at RDH Under One Roof. I've done quite a few things, and honestly, I wouldn't have done it if I hadn't gone to CareerFusion.
That's a good point too. Like we were saying about, there's no straight path to a lot of these things, and the world is changing. It's not you work for the same company for 40 years and get a retirement. Right. There's a lot of, you have to combine things. You have to, okay, I do clinical hygiene for 2 days. I do this, I do this, I do this. So it's kind of a new world, but I think so many employees, or we'll say hygienists that are employees, they're still in the old mindset of, I want a full-time job, I want a full-time job. but things are changing so fast. I think that they have to kind of get on board. I think of with this new world.
Yeah, Beth Thompson puts it this way: that there's more ways to have an income than to have a job, and that's really kind of how it ends up being for a lot of our members.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So as far as not having a job or something out of CareerFusion, that's just a piece of the puzzle, basically, right? That you add to your connections and all that. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, my point was that you might not leave that event with a job, but it may lead to one in the future. Yeah.
Absolutely. Or a sponsorship or whatever you want to do.
Exactly.
Kind of yeah.
Exactly.
Laurie, can you talk a little bit about what you're doing? You're a certified health coach, and what is that exactly? What do you do?
Well, I am a personal health coach, so people come to me and they want some guidance and support about creating better health in their life, and so I have a 3-month and a 6-month program for that. And what I really like to do is to speak to groups about health and wellness. And so I do a little bit of the health coaching, but I do more of the speaking. And it's not just to dental groups, it could be to any group that is really interested. Right now I'm trying to hook up with the American Heart Association, and one of the companies that was at CareerFusion this year has asked me to go to a boot camp where they're recruiting speakers, so I'm excited about that.
Are both you guys still doing clinical hygiene, or are you not doing that anymore? Yeah.
Beth is. I mean, Shirley is, sorry. It says Beth on my screen, I'm sorry.
I know. I do some subbing on occasion. My schedule is just too crazy, and sometimes it's fun to do it, and sometimes it's just not. So when I'm busy, I don't do it, and when I have some time, then it's okay.
Yeah, I still work full-time clinical hygiene, and I'm doing my thing with the product and all that.
Yeah.
I eventually want to go part-time at some point.
Yeah.
At least my ideal would be 1 day a week, clinical. That's do other stuff, but.
I have to say I miss it. It was very, very hard to give up.
Yeah.
I actually couldn't sit in that position anymore. So I'm hoping you're wearing loops and lights. And
I am, absolutely. I have a saddle chair. I have loops.
And a saddle chair.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, that brings up a really good point, Mark, that that hygienists don't often invest in their own future and invest in their own career. They want the doctor to buy them a saddle chair. They want the doctor to buy them loops. They want the doctor to buy them, XP instruments. They want the doctor to do all this stuff for them, or the practice owner, to be more broad. But when you're used to buying things for yourself, you have an entirely different attitude about your job, and you turn into somebody different than a clock puncher. And those are the kind of people that come to CareerFusion. I remember one conversation I had with a hygienist about production. It was her first day at CareerFusion. We have a little reception at the end of the first day. And she was like, oh, my God, I would never do that, and yada, 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 and all this stuff. And boy, I tell you, by the end of that conversation, she had a little bit of a different attitude. Mostly because I wasn't the only one telling her that. The whole table kind of was. And she is an entirely different person. She was very resistant to using the computer, and she is now taking online courses, getting her bachelor's degree. Yeah. So she's, she's removed her funds or managed her funds to go to college now instead, because she knew, she was educable.
Yeah. Yeah. I buy a lot of stuff on my own. Like a lot of the hygienists I work with think I'm crazy.
Yeah, right.
I buy all my instruments. I have my own scaler. I loops. Yep. I even buy some of the products. I have American Eagle XP instruments. I spend a lot of money, but for me, it's so worth it. I did a blog post one time about. I said, if you had a choice between making, say, $35 an hour, and you work with awful instruments, or you make $33 an hour and you have whatever you want. Now, if you add up that $2 an hour over the year, it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I'd rather make $33 an hour and have all the good stuff, you know. So that's my argument, you know.
Good point.
But
That's a good point.
somebody hygienist said, oh no, I shouldn't have to pay for that. I'm going to use these other instruments.
Yeah.
I think it's more of a mentality than, you know, once you think about it the way you think of it, you've already passed that point. You already knew before you figured out the money part that it was worth it.
Absolutely.
So it's really more the mentality.
Mm-hmm.
So
Exactly.
if you can only do email on your computer, most likely you're not going to be buying your own instruments.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's true. Let's see. I think I touched on all the points I had on my list. Do you guys want to add anything? Any thoughts you guys have about anything else?
I don't think so. It was a pretty comprehensive conversation.
Yeah.
It takes a while to kind of get into all the little parts of what CareerFusion is and where Beth and I are coming from, and I think we got everything. We also offer professional headshots during our meeting, and you can see them show up on Facebook at the end of January as people are swapping out their headshots.
Yeah.
And that's pretty fun. It's the first time a lot of people have had somebody else do their makeup for them or their hair, and so that's pretty fun.
Yeah.
We have some dentists who attend. They get a lot out of it. One dentist in particular just loves the feeling that he gets there, and just the whole atmosphere. It really sets him off for the entire year. And one is there building his own little separate business that he's had a lot of help with some of the other companies. So he's talking to those companies about marketing and about this and about that. So he's really coming for that purpose. The corporate partners are engaged and involved in every aspect. They don't just do their thing and then run off and hide in their room. So
yeah,
I think they look forward to it, Shirley.
I am Shirley Gutkowski. Maybe I should say that out loud if everybody's seeing our Beth's name under there. We share this email address, Beth and I do, so people can send both of us something and just have the one email address with respect to CareerFusion. So that's how that is.
I can share a story that I had an offer in late 2013. I was asked by Tricia O'Hare to present at the Townie meeting in Las Vegas, and for the 2014 Townie meeting. And it was like in April, I think it was. But they asked me like 8 months before.
Right.
And for me, like, I never did that before. I didn't do it, but I was, I'm still working full time with the business and everything. I'm like really busy. But that was one of the reasons why I didn't do it. But one of the reasons why I never did it before, like, I didn't even have a topic. I didn't even know what to speak about, you know. But now I have ideas what I want to speak about. But like at the time, I was like, I don't know what. And she was like 90. I was like 90 minutes. Is Q&A for like 45 minutes like. So it was a little overwhelming for somebody that doesn't speak like that. I was like, oh, that's a lot, you know. But,
Mark, I know a great conference that would support you into learning those skills.
Yeah, I'm probably going to sign up at some point.
All right. I look forward to seeing you next year.
Yeah, I want to do my bachelor's degree and then probably CareerFusion at some point. So.
All right. Well, keep us
we're
posted.
Looking forward to it.
All right, Shirley. So what's the website, Shirley, just to throw out there on the video?
CareerFusion.net.
Okay. And they can sign up anytime, right? During the year, is that right?
Right. Yep. If you signed up and started a payment plan today, you would start getting invitations to our online meetings, and you would, we're redoing our pre-meeting exercises, so as soon as those are ready, you'll start working on those, and So
the $21.50 is for the whole thing, basically?
Yep.
Okay.
It does not include air. It does not include the hotel.
I mean, as far as like the annual membership and all these things.
Yep.
Then that's pretty. That's very affordable.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys. So thank you. I'll have this posted. I don't know, probably next week or something.
Okay.
And a blog, and I'll have it all the links to the website and all that.
Okay.
All right. Sound good?
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Mark.
All right. Have a good one.
Bye, Mark. Thank
Bye.
you. See you at CareerFusion.
All right. Very good. Bye-bye.
Bye.